Monobasis and Kennedaeus, the two grandsons of the Ethiopian queen, which I put in inverted commas to show so-called Ethiopian queen. Well, all of you who have read the book of Acts know where the Ethiopian queen appears. She has a treasurer who Philip meets on the road to Gaza, and then this eunuch, he's a eunuch. I'm going to show you, by the way, that is a malevolent characterization of the party of the circumcision. Remember, James's group is the party of the circumcision? Well, at that time, these writers knew much more than we knew. And we'll see, I'll show you that, in fact, it's the circumcision thing which is the key. But I don't show people that till chapter 25. And that is actually written in here. Chapter 25, which is Queen Helen and the Ethiopian queen's eunuch. So there's a whole chapter. He said, Eisenman, that is the reviewer, said, Eisenman doesn't even know that Monobasis, see, this is how abstruse this gets. And it'll go way over your heads, but that's good. You'll go and you'll find, because if you're interested in biblical subjects, you'll go and find this material because you want to know as much as you can know about this subject. Don't worry, I'm off on a swirl, but I'm going to come back. Don't worry, I know I'm out on a limb, but I'm going to come back. He said, Eisenman doesn't even know that Monobasis and Kennedaeus, where are they from? Who knows where Monobasis and Kennedaeus are from? What source is that? Huh? Josephus. These two people are killed. They are the grandsons of Queen Helen of Adiabene, who converts to Judaism, and they want to, their relatives want to circumcise themselves. And there's another teacher who doesn't want them to circumcise themselves. Well, you know how important the issue of circumcision is in Paul's letters. I bring all of that in. In any case, he said, Eisenman doesn't even know that that the Ethiopian queen didn't even have two sons called Kennedaeus and Monobasis. Well, he didn't even read chapter 25, where I draw the identity between the Ethiopian queen in Acts and Queen Helen in Josephus. So if he had read to chapter 25, he would have found that out. But this is the kind of thing that we get. Let me go back. Let's not get bogged down in that. I just want to show you the kind of thing that we get into here. But I will assure you this. If you read to chapter 25, I'm sure a lot of you won't get that far, but if you read to chapter 25, and the hair doesn't stand up on your head, and you don't say, oh my God, it's all true. It's all too true. Eisenman was right. Write me a letter. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm happy to receive it. But I know what will happen to you if you get that far. You'll say, oh my God, it's terrifying. It's terrifying what has occurred, because the same thing happened to me. I couldn't even believe it when I started making the connections. And then I was able to go further. How many have heard of the document called MMT? So few of us know these things. It's one of the key, there's a lawsuit about it in the Israeli Supreme Court at the moment. It's one of the key documents of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's been written up in the New York Times, it's been argued over, and so on and so forth. Nobody knows what this letter was. What I do is put together the Queen Helen, the conversion of Queen Helen, her sons, the circumcision thing, and James's letter in the book of Acts. And also another correspondence in Eusebius called the Agabus, the King Agabus, the conversion of King Agabus in a place called Edessa, which is, by the way, where the Holy Shroud was supposed to have come from, in a place in northern Syria called Edessa. But what I show in my book is that Edessa was also called Antioch. There were 3 or 4 Antiochs in the Seleucid Empire. This is how complicated all of this is. In Syria, there was one, that's the one we normally think. And James sent Judas Barsabbas and Silas down to Antioch with his letter of his rulings in the Jerusalem Council. If you compare the rulings in the Jerusalem Council with MMT, you'll see that they're basically there. Particularly the ban on what? Things sacrificed to idols. That is the key point. If you read your New Testament carefully, that is the key point. How many are even aware that James bans things sacrificed to idols in the key episode in Acts 15. How many here are aware of that? 3%, 15%. It's tough. But if you want to unravel this huge mystery and bring these people who've been consigned to the scrap heap of history back to life, this is the kind of thing you have to do, and this is why I think we take 1,000 pages to do it. They say, do it in 350. I said, they'll laugh at me. None of these arguments will stand up. They'll laugh anyway. None of these arguments will stand up. Aha, but at least at 1,000 pages, the proofs are there. And they say, oh, you can't write this for the general public. The general public can't take this. Yes, they can. They can take it better than the scholarly public, because often the scholarly public has entrenched positions that they're unwilling to part with. They've learned this. If they didn't see this before, how come they didn't see that there was not a James, the son of Zebedee? How come they've been juggling 3 or 4 Jameses? How come we've been juggling 3 or 4 Marys, and there really probably is only one? How come there's so many Judases when there really is probably only one? Who is the one? Judas, the brother of James. Judas, the brother of James. Wherever, and that's what I show you, wherever the family of Jesus comes into question in the New Testament, we have problems of the historicity. And new characters suddenly appear. Now, I know I'm going around in circles, but I wanted you to get some of this in to think about. So what we show at several points is that this letter of James to Antioch, taken down by Judas Barsabbas. Who's Judas Barsabbas? Another one of these multiple Judases. These are all the same Judases. Judas Thomas, Judas the twin, Judas the Zealot, also known as Lebbaeus, also known as Thaddeus. If you compare your gospel lists, you'll find that Thaddeus, also known as Lebbaeus, surnamed Lebbaeus, takes the place of Judas of James in Luke. So in Matthew and Mark, you have Thaddeus, surnamed Lebbaeus. In Luke, you have Judas of James as this apostle. So you'll find I give you all the sources on that, which is why we have the 4th and 5th parts of this book, the brothers of Jesus as apostles, and finally, Jamesian communities in the East. Those are the 2 sections my publishers really wanted me to get rid of, and I said, no, that's where the key arguments are laid out. So we also go into the other brothers of Jesus in this book. Let me give you